Good afternoon. Alan first mentioned we were talking about survey on the Origin Alliance. I had a bit of think about it and thought the last thing I want to do is get up here and show you 12D fuel, because Graham and Mick do a lot better job of that than I do. So I'm not going to do any live demonstrations of that one. As Travis mentioned, tracking design and tracking 12DA models on the Origin Alliance is breaking some new boundaries. Even as of last week, I think I still was out there with 15 crews running at the moment. We're still doing detailed pickups for VMS boards up to Warragul Highway and Cunningham Highway. Picking up all this design data, getting onto a master. Meanwhile, we're landing Super T planks, we're placing dirt, we're putting a lot of long section drainage in, cross drainage in. So, as Travis mentioned, it's very dynamic out there at the moment, and thankfully it is wet and I'm able to be here. So, I thought I would backtrack a little bit on the Origin Alliance and go back to where I was about 3 years ago. I spoke to my parent company's Abbey Group. I spoke to Brett Lehman, who's the National Survey Manager of Abbey Group, and we had a discussion, and Brett had in his head this idea of a 12D based field software, you know, that we could use the power of 12D in the field for set out and so forth. And I know Brett was very excited about it, and I was very excited about it, and there was a few guys around that thought it's a bit of a pipe dream, but it's possible. So the first glimpse we had of it, the journey so far, is the next slide. Alan and Mick's black esky under the tripod, which conveniently doubles as a Wi-Fi antenna. So for those of you who were here 2 years ago, there was a black esky on stage, I believe. I wasn't actually here. And this black esky had a Wi-Fi antenna in it, and it was a bit of a go. Actually, the idea of having an esky underneath a tripod for some surveyors on a hot day, that's a pretty good idea actually, so I'll give Alan credit for that one. That was the first glimpses of 12D field and the software. So for myself and Peter Watson, who have done a lot of work on this in the last couple of years, we thought, Mick Hunter doing the software for us, we're in good hands. Mick's been writing software that I've been using for the last 15 years or more, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. Hardware selection, I had my concerns, Alan. So we had a bit of a think about it, and one of the big things that was bugging me was how do we actually, even if we have got a computer to talk to our instruments, how are we actually going to do that, and how are we going to cart it around, what's going to be available? So I actually went off to, and I actually need it now because I've got a big project starting, mate, and I need to get it on the road. So Paul was, Peter will just bring up a few photos there. Paul was very obliging and had got developed a USB radio to talk to instruments, which has become one of the tools along with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But mainly on site these days we're using USB radios to talk to our instruments, and as you can see there, that was the first prototype from Paul. Grey radio one end on a little tablet and another one on the legs. So we headed in the right direction. We had some radios to talk. Mick's writing some software, it's coming along. We actually managed to prize a bit of a beta version out of Lee. The next problem was choice of PC platform on the other end. And few things had to be looked at there: battery life, touchscreen, keypad. A few questions about the possibilities, and Pete searched the world over actually, tried lots of different stuff, all of which I had to find funding for, mind you. And you know, these days we've got we've settled on a fairly good platform, and I'm running 15 crews out there on the platform. Next slide here that Pete's going to go to, and he had to zoom in. Some rigorous testing was completed by his 2-year-old daughter on these touch screens, just to make sure they were easy to use for surveyors. Apparently they passed. Thanks, Georgia. So where we are now, we've got a very handy little USB radio developed by PDS. First one you see there is a silver one, was the first one that went to production, and in more recent times the yellow one there, it's about the size of a cigarette packet, is the latest and greatest. Fits quite comfortably behind. Hook into any USB port on any computer, ruggedised tablet, anything you like. So only comes in yellow, but apparently, don't know why. Platforms. Personally, we've settled on the Panasonic. Just come out 300 nit transflective screen, and it's quite good. And I'm sure it's going to be a big leap forward for the guys on site at the moment. Be using that one. Further compatibility, compatibility to instruments, compatibility to GPS receivers. A few there on site, and Graham's spoken about a fair bit about that. So I'd probably talk about a bit about the future, about 12D field. Like I said, it was only 2 years ago that we were up here with Valence Blackesky. So I would imagine that in 2 years' time we're going to have faster, more refined user interface, thanks to Mick, and he's making big gains on that already. More powerful, lighter hardware platforms. As you can see in the last 2 years, a lot of new stuff's come to market, and a lot more will come to market. One thing I think we will see for surveyors is a second desktop computer for site work. There'll be one computer that does everything. The platforms are getting that powerful now that we will be running everything off one platform, and that there's really no need to run up a second desktop computer really. And even a greater selection of survey instruments out there, that's going to grow and move on. So there we are. We've developed a very usable platform software for 12D field, and I can tell you it only just came in time for the Origin Alliance, and I really don't know where it'd be today without 12D field, because the revisions of models that get thrown at us, the TTM designs, we're in revision 7 and 8, we're in TTMs, I think last count was 13 or 14, changing weekly, fortnightly. So developing files for third-party software would be a bit of a nightmare. So the major benefits outlined there for the Origin Alliance survey is instant upload of the entire design model to our field computer platform. And that's no real secret, that's just import a 12DA file. Very simple. Ability to have this entire model at our fingertips in the field all the time. That's a lot more useful than you give it credit for. Just being able to know where every single back curve string is, having all the line marking with you. It avoids a lot of racing to and from office to pick up other designs and whatnot. Ability to delete and reload new design revisions in minutes from a new design. So, like I said before, that's just a 12DA file. We'll probably just delete the design project, load a new project in from Travis, and we're back out there with a new project. Last one there, service location or PUP via master service model. It's very important to us as well to be able to go on site with a GPS or TPS, locate sewer, Telstra, existing services that we've actually laid ourselves, that have been updated in the master, and you go back and find where we put. I think we had a couple of screenshots of the type of thing. Fairly complex design there, 6 Mile Creek. These all run very smoothly on that little CFU1 without a problem. You can actually run a raster in the background if we like, as we're out there. And you know, we can even take a 3D bridge design out there as an example of one of the ones, one of the smaller bridges, and have a real good look at headstocks and abutments and different strengths. So that was about the end of it for the 12D field site. As I mentioned at the start, the big thing for surveyors on site these days with the fast-tracked designs is actually getting the information from the designers out to the guys in the paddock as quickly as possible and as smoothly as possible with as least hardship as possible. And as you can imagine, from a 12D field point of view, 12D design, given to us a 12DA, uploading that's very simple. But there's something else out there that we use today, which is machine control. So we also need to get files to our machines rapidly. So we need to get them out of 12D and into our machines as fast and smooth as possible. And one of the ways we do that is by actually being able to output directly out of 12D to our machines on site. For this we use a function in 12D which we'll go through very shortly. Output our tins, output our line work, and output our alignment files directly out of 12D. Once we've created those files, we upload these files to the machine via an HD network and discuss the new design live on a screen to the operator. So that all sounds like how you do that, mate. So the last part of the presentation today is hopefully a live demonstration of how we go about this. So what Peter's going to do is bring up a little road design that he's created. So we've got a few strings there of a new road that we've created, Travis, and got rid of yours. It's too big, it's taking too long to build. In place of it, very simple little road. So we've tinned it, we've had a look at some contours, it's all good. Don't worry about it, Trav. Right. That piece goes into survey, drops down to our TOPCON machine control, using on site. He's going to output 3 files here. I'm going to push out a LM3 file for line work, and push out a tin file. He's also going to push out an RD3, which will be the center line. So the good thing about this one is we're not having to get our 12D data and push it into another set of software to output files. For me, it's great because I don't have to purchase any other software other than 12D, thankfully. And I don't have to train up guys on another set of software how you can produce files for this or that or the other. It's all coming out of 12D, and that, I guess, is another something else that Torpey Field negates for us is it's all coming out of one package, and the training is cut down, and knowledge base, you know, needn't be as high as what if we run another set of software that would have to convert the data for instruments and GPS. So where we at there, Pete? We've created a So it's created those three files there, LN3, RD3, TN3, and that's from the new design, let's say, and in our survey office we have to have a dedicated computer purely for talking to our machines. It's run off an ADSL link. Today we're going to be brave and we're going to run off a NextG network link on the laptop. And we're going to talk to another NextG network link on a grader on site. So, as you can imagine, over an ADSL network, probably going to be a bit quicker, a bit faster. Going from NextG to NextG is going to be a little bit laggy, but if all goes to plan, we'll still see some results. So, last week's been very wet. Most of the operators, in fact all the operators have knocked off. I'd normally have about 10 running around in graders and dozers and excavators. And but they've all knocked off unfortunately. Thankfully, got a guy called Scratch, grader operator, call him Steve Hargy. So what we're seeing there is it's a live view of what's on screen. Steve Scratch's grader in his cab, and what I might do is, as you can see there, my numbers are changing, so I might just get Scratch on the phone and tell him that we're going to send a new design through. There you go, Scratch.
Yeah, good, mate.
Scratch, Peter's got a new road design he's going to send through to you.
Yeah, right,
So, you just stand by there, mate. You'll get that shortly.
okay.
So what was shown on the screen there before was actually the real motorway design.
How are you,
He's on a display, trust me. What's the weather doing out there, mate?
It looks like it's crazy.
Yeah? The weather or your wife, mate? Okay, so Peter's just done a remote computer to local computer file transfer. And as I said, we are going from NextG SIM card to NextG SIM card on a grader here, so it is a little bit laggy. I'm sure we can see what's going on. Peter will go and just choosing your centre line for him. Go and pick a new surface, new working surface. It's not going to be zone 2 finish level anymore, Travis. It's going to be our conference road. So as it flicks over there, you'll see that load a new surface on. And there we go. There's our road that we just output out of 12D. Into the grader. What does that look like, Scratch?
Yeah, that's good, mate, yeah.
Bit smaller, mate. We should be able to get the job done a bit quicker, eh? So, if you want to go for a bit of a drive, mate, move your blade around. These guys might be able to see what kind of cuts we're getting there. Pete's also just loaded some, after LN3 file, loaded some strings, so there we have it. If Scratch actually wants to go and do something. So as you imagine, this is all make-believe. There we go, he's moving along. As you imagine, the benefits of this, a few things out in the market, a lot of screen grab stuff, file transfer. This is actually real life stuff, so as you can see, as Pete's pressing the buttons here, it's actually changing the computer in the cab. We're getting a live feedback from the cab. So as far as loading new designs, troubleshooting is a big one, a big bugbear of mine. Troubleshooting for machine control guys, you know, these guys, especially the newer guys to it, they'll be on the phone to us a fair bit. What string is this? What tin shell we're using in this area, etc., etc. So that enables us to log into their machine, check this all out, check it out live, and do some troubleshooting. And you know, if we've got to make a trip from the office out to a machine, we've got to go through entry gates these days, we've got to sign JHAs, we've got to get in the cab. It can be an hour or two before you get back to the office to do what you're doing, just to load a new design on. So it saves a lot. You know, once again, we could be in Perth or anywhere loading this to him and see what he's doing. Pete's just showing a few things inside the software there as far as the satellites that the machine's tracking and a few other bits and pieces. And we can obviously get in and have a look at all this stuff and troubleshoot problems on a day-to-day basis, which helps with a fair bit of satellite cleaning there. How's it going there, Scratch? It's good? Righto, I'll let you go. Go and have a beer. Can we thank Scratch for hanging around and do this for us. That's about the end of it. On behalf of Origin Alliance, I thank you for having listened. Cheers.